Whoa, league of my own, it don't get better. No, read what I wrote.
Welcome back to the Passion to Paycheck podcast. On today's episode, we have Eric. Hey, Eric, how are you doing today?
Good, guys. How are you?
Doing good. So to get started, we can go ahead and just let the audience know a little bit about you and kind of what you're working on right now.
All right. My name's Eric. What am I working on right now? A lot of things. So I own Elite Fitness Center. Our goal is always just to bring personal training and group classes to members of the community. I've also gotten really involved in the strongman community, so I do a lot of organizing of events and emceeing of different events. So right now we have Central Valley Strongest that I'm getting put together. That is on February 8th. We'll have 80 competitors from 50-plus cities here for that.
Oh, nice.
And then I'm running the... it's called West Coast Strongman Classic. That'll be up in Santa Clara on April 12th. That's a regional. That's an Arnold qualifier, so I'm getting everything put together for that. And then I'll be emceeing and hosting the Moss Wrestling World Championship at the Arnold in February. So it's a busy next couple months.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you got a lot on your plate right now.
It's a lot.
I'm sure you enjoy all that stuff because it's up your avenue as far as the strongman, Moss Wrestling.
Yeah, the strongman community has been really, really different, right? So the fitness community is great as a whole, but there's always egos with bodybuilding and powerlifting, and there's characters everywhere. I get that. With strongman, it has hands down been the most easygoing, welcoming, everybody has fun, everybody supports everybody community that I've ever been a part of. There's not one event where it doesn't matter if you're a competition or not, everybody is supporting. If you need equipment, everybody's throwing equipment at you, right?
Nice.
It is just the easiest going, most fun community that I've been a part of. And I'm fortunate that the gym has become big enough, and I have great people working with me as far as the trainers and the staff go, and Corey runs the class part of it, so I'm able to really focus on this while everybody does their jobs and everything's good.
That's right. And for as far as like gyms, how long have you been owning gyms for?
Owning gyms. This is my second gym. The first one I built in this is 10 years of gyms. I've been self-employed now for 15 years.
Oh, nice.
Started with a studio in my house, and then built my first gym in 2015, and sold that, got out of that with a partner that I had at the time, and then I opened this one in 2017.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Excellent. So what kind of inspired you to start your own gym?
The biggest one, I would say, what helped me with my gym as far as building one was, to be honest, I was bored. I had a great clientele. I had a great business out of my house, but more often than not, it became Groundhog's Day. Everybody does the same thing. The workouts became the same. The clients become almost unmotivated. We're all friends and it's all cool, but it gets boring in your own four walls that's 20 by 20, and you see the same damn thing every day, right? So everybody get kind of bored. And then I had a lot of trainer friends of mine that were stuck at commercial gyms here in town, right? So they weren't making any money. They were getting screwed on that whole platform the way that used to be.
Oh, yeah.
And to me, it was, I saw an opportunity to give them something that they didn't have. And the first gym that I built was the first one like it in town. It was a private studio where trainers could pay a percentage of their hourly wage to come work here, right? So I flipped the mold. The typical gym back then was you'd make a 15% of whatever the $60 that you would be charged at an in-shape, right? So if you were a trainer and I was a client, I'd pay the gym $60, you get paid 15 out of it. I flipped that. So trainer's now going to make 45 and I'd make 15. So I changed the mold on that one. So I made 15% or 25% of whatever the trainer made, and that blew up. I had 17 trainers and 200-something members at one point.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good. It did really well.
Oh, dang. That's I bet how was those challenges there managing all the trainers?
It was managing the trainers. It was so much more like I became a fitness manager all over again, right? Like if you only made $1,000 this month, well, why'd you only make $1,000? Let's go over how we can. Like, I don't care about your business that much. You don't want me involved in your business that much. If you want to work 4 hours this week, that's on you. Yeah. But it definitely became a full-time, like 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. thing. I'm running people's schedules and checking invoices, and then when you get that many trainers, a lot of people started doing under the table stuff, just like they were at the gym. Like 75% of your hourly wage wasn't enough, right? So so it became a big handful and headache for that. So that's why I flipped it back on this one, is we just went back to the flat rate model. If you want to work 2 hours, that's on you. As long as your rent clears, and we're fine. But
There you go.
Not all trainers like to work, is what I've noticed. Is
Right.
that some guys are cool just working 10 hours a week, and that's fine. But when my original business plan for that first gym opened up, if everybody worked like me, then I only need 5 trainers.
Right.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Yeah, they don't all work like
They
that.
don't want to work like Rudy does, man. You're the only one that's there more than me most of the time now, right? It's
Rudy
people-
takes no days off.
no days off. Like, fuck, it's Sunday, man. Why are you here?
You only need
So-
3 of those.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if I had 3 of Rudy's, then everybody can go home. But it was fun. It was a good energy gym. But it definitely changed the mold. It got all the, like, if you go now, you go to InShape, there aren't any trainers there anymore.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Body in Shape doesn't have them. All the commercial gyms look like they just demolished because there's no money coming in no more.
They got greedy though, right? So when I
Yeah.
opened InShape in 2008, 2009, we were, you made like $20 an hour, which was fine. And especially back then, right? Now that's minimum wage, but it was
Yeah.
good back then.
Oh, yeah, it was real good.
And then it was every certification and more education you had, you made up to 48% of the hourly rate. So a $60 session made $30. Okay, cool. And then it was sales commission. You get up to like 8 to 10% on sales commission. So if you sold $8,000, you're making an extra $1,000, right? So I mean, it was good money that we made. And so that InShape, I remember there was like 15 of us that worked there with under a manager of ours, and we would sell $40,000 in cash. It was not an EFT thing, right? Because now they all get an
Right.
EFT.
Yeah.
That was 30 to 40 grand in cash every month, hands down. And so we made a killing. And then they got greedy and said, "Oh, well, we're going to do EFT, and all we care about is a 12-month contract." Well, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like that model when they switched kind of started taking the money and kind of slowly demolished the whole personal training at these gyms.
They crushed it. There was no more incentivizations for education. There was no more bonus for sales. And then they just started pulling people off the floor. "You're in shape. You want to come be a trainer?" It doesn't really work that way, you know. So, you know, it's worked though for them, I guess. But anyway, so when I developed my system, it really kind of pulled all the good trainers out of the gyms. And when they didn't want to do what I did anymore, because once I sold that, then everybody kind of went to their own garages and got their own studios, kind of thing. So, again, which is fine. It's not as fun as people think it is being in your own garage all day.
Oh, yeah.
You can only tell yourself so many jokes, and it really gets boring. So to me, I'm an energy guy. I need the feed off the energy, and I'm an introvert by nature. So it's crucial that if I don't have the good energy, then it's not good.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah, you got to have fun, or you take on everybody's drama and their stress and their complaints all fucking day, and so it's heavy.
Oh yeah.
When you opened up your first gym, did any of the other gyms get mad? InShape, the big ones?
Not really. Nobody got mad. Nothing that I can think of.
Okay.
I mean, I've made. I won't even say names on it, but you know, Body Exchange has always been Body Exchange. If anybody knows who the owners are, they've never been the most people that like, you know, nobody likes them. InShape is. I've kept my membership with InShape since I opened it in 2008. Right, I still go there, and I still am friends with the managers and who runs it all now. So everybody was always supportive. I was never a competition.
Right.
You know, their money is membership.
Yeah.
I'm not touching that. So
Right.
personal training stuff was just extra chump change for them.
Yeah.
And they screwed that model up when they sold it to who was it? Custom Built
they sold
out
it.
of Georgia. Yeah, they sold the training department. They tried to sublet it at a Custom Built that's based out of Georgia, and they sent all these people out, and
that's when they changed the model?
That's when they changed the model.
So that's what they messed up.
Yeah, they really screwed it up.
Yeah. It seems like it because they don't got it no more.
We would have never left. None of us would have ever
Yeah,
left.
because 38, 40 grand a month extra, man, you can't go wrong with that.
You would think, but people get greedy, man.
Yeah.
They do.
They
They're trying to
definitely-
figure out how to make an extra buck here and there and screw the other people over, you know, the ones that are actually putting in the work.
Yeah.
Well, in a way, it could be a blessing in disguise, right? Because if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't have opened that gym.
Yep,
and
had
you
that not
wouldn't have
happened,
gym.
from there, we all went to Body Exchange. Like all of us but 4 went over to Body Exchange. And then we all kind of spread out and started managing the different locations of Body Exchange. And I left Body Exchange in 2010. I had a knee injury in a football game that I was playing in, right? So I blew my knee out. And I couldn't work for a couple of months. And so a buddy of mine I was a fitness manager. He was the general manager of a location that I was running. And the owners of the gym sent him an email that went to all the managers saying how stupid Eric is for playing sports, and now he screwed up and he can't work for us, and we own him and this whole thing, right? So I said,
That's
and he
crazy.
forwarded that to me. He's like, "Just so you know, So I was like, oh, okay, I got it. And that was never whooped in there again.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So that's where I built my own and said, have fun.
Yeah. Enjoy your life.
Yep. Good luck, guys. So no, those guys weren't the best.
And then the first gym you said it was boot camp style and personal training?
Mostly personal training style.
Okay.
So you know where the Camino Real restaurant is, right?
Yeah.
So that whole building that's north-south, everything but the last 2 units were mine.
Oh, okay.
So it started with just the middle. It used to be a Napa. And so it was like 3 of those sections. And so that was just personal training studio. And then I took over the last unit, and that became my Group X room. So we did the TRX and the group classes and such.
Okay.
I think now it's a weed shop. So that's what it.
And then now the EFC, it's more boot camp classes. Is that something you kind of thought about when you transitioned out of the old gym, or is that something you had in mind you always wanted to do?
I hate group fitness. To be honest with you, 100%, it is the last thing that I ever would try and sell somebody, because it's not the right way, right? Like, I can't focus. If I'm teaching a class and I got 20 people in there, which one of you are getting my attention? Because it's not possible.
Right.
But that's the way the mob works, right? Everybody likes the group fitness. They don't really care to take it to the umpth degree, which is fine. I respect it. When you want to take it to that next level, let me know I'm here. And then I'll push the one-on-one. One-on-one has always been my passion. I love the people. I love the story. I love to help people. You can't get that in the group. Like, cool, you might lose a little bit of weight. You get the good workout in. You burn 700 calories. But nothing else you do for the rest of your day is complete.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Like, your nutrition's crap. Your stretching is off. Your movements are wrong, right? There's so many things that should be complete, and they're not getting it.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people just like the boot camp because of the morale. Come on, let's go. Come
they
on,
like
push
the
in.
camaraderie. They like the people. They like to feel like they're getting a workout, which they are, you know. But there's so much more to that picture. You're only putting 2 pieces in, and nobody has touched the rest of it.
Right.
You know, and I tried so hard to make a complete picture for the group model. Like, we're going to do a foam rolling and stretching class. We're going to do a nutrition class. We're going to do measurements. We're going to do all these things, and we're going to do this. It's impossible.
Yeah, because the group people, they don't want that.
They don't want it. They don't show up to it, and then I got to pay staff for it, and it's like, well, then I'm not going to keep doing this if nobody wants it.
Yeah, they're happy with that group.
They
because
love it.
they're not the ones that want to take it to the next level. They just want to do that little work, like you said, burn a little calories and feel a little bit better and maybe eat a little bit better, but they ain't trying to go to the next level.
No, they're happy where they are, and I love it, you know. And to be honest, this is hands down the best group of members that I've ever had at any of the gyms in 10 years. We've got almost 200 members here. And it's just fun, man. It's such a good energy.
I love it.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I love it there. Everyone's cracking jokes. I'll be training
the whole time.
Everyone's like,
It's having fun. It's just
a good
crazy.
time.
It's crazy. It's so much fun. I'm so lucky, and I'm glad that everybody's as happy as they are. It makes it fun.
Yeah, a lot of my clients definitely like going to the gym from my transition from the old one to the new one. They like the new one way better.
Good.
And I like it way better too.
Good. Yeah, that's good. No,
And then they do the volleyball tournaments. No, because I was there earlier today, and that's what was going on today.
Man, we do a lot of stuff there. So, yeah, today is a volleyball tournament for a fundraiser for, I think it was her, she's doing a fundraiser for something. I forget the event, so I won't misquote it. But then in March now we're doing an MMA fight again, right? So Bakersfield Combat's coming back.
Oh, nice.
So we've done cage fights, basketball, wrestling.
Yeah, I've been there too. Yeah.
Everything. You've been there for cage fights?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
For Carlos's or the Gills?
Which one's the first one?
How long ago? I've done a lot of them.
No, it was this year.
Carlos.
Carlos.
He does with the big TV and the screen in the back. Yeah, Carlos does an amazing show.
Oh, yeah.
So he's coming back in March. So I'm excited to have them back.
Oh, nice. That's going to be exciting.
Yeah, man. They do really cool stuff. Yeah. People get down. It's crazy.
Yeah, you can hear it all.
Oh, yeah. One guy didn't tap on an arm bar, and that one you heard.
Right.
The whole room went quiet. It was brutal.
They get real serious, man. They don't play around.
No, I have no. I'm not wired for that.
Yeah, no.
I'll watch.
Yep. I'll sit in my seat and have a drink, and you guys
as
break
you
each
get
other's
older,
arms.
you don't heal the same.
Hell no, man. That's the truth. Yeah.
As far as like strongman, what kind of drew you to strongman as far? Because I know you've done a little bit of bodybuilding from what I've heard.
Yep.
And then from bodybuilding to strongman, what kind of made the transition?
You know, for me, it was always, what made that transition? Bodybuilding is so specific, and unfortunately, nobody will tell you that. Everybody wants to train like a bodybuilder. Everybody wants to get on stage. Everybody wants to impose in a mirror, and I'm for it. But somebody needs to tell these people, like, hey, you are not barrel-chested. You're not going to be a bodybuilder. You're not going to win. right? If you don't have round muscle bellies, you're not going to win. If you don't have a small waist and big shoulders, if you turn sideways and you disappear, you're not going to win. Nobody will tell them that, right? And so that's fine. Let everybody train to be a bodybuilder. For me, I'm lucky as I was barrel-chested, I'm wide, I'm big, I'm thick, I'm able to put on a lot of mass, so that was good. But I also was like 300 and something pounds at my heaviest point until I was 21, right? So I lost a lot of weight late in life.
Yeah.
And so for me is I could get really big and I can get lean, but I have a lot of loose skin. And so when I do my side poses and all the mandatory stuff, I would get a lot of skin loose and hanging out. And that was a detractor on bodybuilding parts, right? So unless I wanted to have it all cut off and tightened and all that nonsense, then there wasn't really much point of continuing it. The other part for why I stopped bodybuilding was I have a lot of injuries. So I have a protein deficiency in my body, so I tear tendons very easy. They don't mount to my bones like normal persons do. So I've broken my right ankle 8 times, this one 4 times, ruptured quad tendon, ruptured patellar tendon, torn biceps twice, torn pec, and only one of them from weightlifting. Everything else has been from running or playing sports of some kind.
Oh, dang.
So I've only had one injury from weightlifting, so it's not from lifting heavy. I've always been safer lifting heavy. So when I started getting all these injuries and rehab and coming back from that, bodybuilding wasn't much in the picture anymore because I don't have proportions the way you're supposed to, right? My quad sweep isn't the same. My biceps ain't shaped the same, right? So just stupid stuff like that matters in bodybuilding didn't work anymore. So strongman, I liked everybody grew up watching Metrics World's Strongest Man, right? We all watched that shit on ESPN.
Oh, yeah,
we were
they're
growing up.
holding
And,
the things, you're like, oh.
Yeah, the Hercules,
that was
right?
my favorite.
Yeah, that and just stuff that you never really knew was possible. You never thought about it. You never see a competition. That stuff's not mainstream.
Yeah.
It was just that stage. And so actually a buddy of mine was convinced to go do a comp down in Thousand Oaks, and he's an amputee. So my training partner, we started working out, and he was going to go do it, and then he bailed on me like the night before, said his leg hurt, didn't want to go do it, and of course he's an amputee, so I can't tell him, toughen up, buttercup. I don't. So he deals with pain that I'll never know about. Yeah. So I was like, all right, well, screw it, I'm going to go by myself. So I went down, and then I had never done a farmer's carry, I had never done a yoke before, I had never done any of this shit before, and it was all brand new to me.
Dang.
And it was fun. Luckily, strength is easy for me, so I got like 7th place out of 18 people at my first event, and I was like, all right, cool. So this is kind of fun. The community was super helpful. Like everybody was giving me stuff that I didn't have and tips and pointers and such. And so I was like, all right, this is cool. And then next year I tore my quad tendon playing volleyball. And so then I was like, all right, we'll take a year off. And I just started going from there. And then it just became a passion of mine because I like pushing yourself. It's fun to see what you can do. Being a fat kid growing up, right? Like I never could do a pull-up till I was 22 years old. I could never run a mile, right? Like that was out of the fucking question. And so like football I was decent at, but it was always just, I didn't care. I didn't know. My family was never a fitness family. It was nothing. And so to me, it's really, really cool to learn how to push yourself and do shit that you never thought was possible. Right. And with strongman, what I like about it so much more now is that it's so much movement related. And there's not rules to it, right? So like the rules are you're going to get that rock over there and put it on top of this thing, and however the hell you want to do it, you can do it. Balance it on your head, you can kick it if you're strong enough, right? Whatever you want to do it. Bodybuilding's not the same, powerlifting's not the same, right? All these sports have rules, and when you're as injured and messed up as I am with a lot of things, you don't have that movement proper, right? Yeah. So I like that.
Okay, nice. And as far as like the adrenaline rush, is there like a rush and like a place in your head where you're just like, it's fucking like the switch almost like,
oh yeah,
you have to switch it from like the nice Eric to like, don't talk to me, Eric.
That's the part where as I'm getting older and I have more athletes that I'm training to do it, I can't compete as much because there aren't a lot of shows here. I'd have to compete with them, and that's not fun for me. I have no desire to beat these guys if I beat them at all anymore now. But mostly it's like I trained 6 athletes all doing different weight classes. Oh, yeah, and then I've got to turn it on too, right? So that's it. I did it last year at LA's Strongest, and it wasn't fun for me just to try and coach everybody. Too much work. And you really do have to go to a certain spot mentally to, like last year's I was a semi-truck pull. Like it's not just something you're going to get up and go do. Right. So you have, especially with as many injuries as I've got. So it's really a mental process to check it out and then checking in, and to be able to turn it on and turn it back off for all the people that need you and tips and advice. And it's like, nah, this isn't. I'd rather work on them. Like, so it's more fun for that.
Yeah. And then I know you have a daughter.
Yep.
So how is it running the business and having the daughter and kind of balancing all that with Sand Strongman and everything else you're doing?
Balance is a funny word. It doesn't exist, right?
Yeah.
So, the hardest thing I would say is putting your priorities where they should be. And I got divorced when my daughter was young, and it was because I didn't do balance very well. I worked too much. We all kind of grew apart, and it was always my fault just because I worked. I'd work from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mm-hmm. I did the best I could, what I thought I was supposed to do, but it just didn't work out that way. So I have shared custody. I have my daughter Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And so that means Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, I'm not at the gym after she's out of school, unless it's an important thing, right? So it took a long time to build a schedule to where I can work really long days when she's not with me, and when she's with me, I'm working when she's at school. So that part is the hard part. And then with that, though, right, is I don't get to train. I train myself maybe twice a week, if I'm lucky. So, it's whatever. Priorities are my student, my kids, and my daughter and my students, right? So, I mean, that's the priority. And then business stuff, fuck. I mean, that's I got 30 hours a week that I'm on the floor with clients. And everybody thinks that's just 30 hours, right? But you know damn well it's 10 hours plus extra per week just doing workouts and planning and preparation. Then you add the business side to it, and then you add the strongman shit to it, right? So it's like, what's the point of working out? So there's no time. But that's the famous excuse, right? There's no time. So I got a bike at home. I got in and I ride that, and I'll write meal plans while I'm riding the bike, and I'll do my cardio in.
That's exactly. I'd be on the treadmill just.
Working on the treadmill.
Yep. Yeah, you do the damn sled while working on your phone. It's ridiculous. It's like, oh, he's working again. It's like, all right, there he goes. So I can't do that.
I'm just like, okay, just go back.
My ADD, I can't. That's the hard part too, though, right? Is working in that. I can't train in my own gym. Yeah. Unless it's empty. But if I'm there, everybody comes to me. Yeah. Everybody's got something to ask or say or whatever else, which is fine. I get it. But it's
you got your game face on. You want to dedicate that time to your client.
Yep. Yep. Or even just if somebody wants to come and ask me a question, I'm not going to tell them to fuck off, right? Like, hey, I'm working out. No. Everything is first. The self-employed, the biggest joke is you're your own boss.
Oh, yeah. You ain't your own boss.
Everybody else is your boss. So, all my people that work for me, they're my boss, right? Because if they need something, I got to do it, right? So there is no such thing as being your own boss.
You wake up working, you go to sleep working.
No, 100%.
Thinking about work all the time.
Oh, man.
I got to do this.
You dream of work.
Dude, nightmares. So since COVID, this has been the biggest nightmare ever, right? So COVID just ransacked everybody in every industry. I get it, but the gyms were the worst. And so this is the first year where it's been at least almost a profitable year since COVID. And so now it's time to start climbing out of debt that was done since COVID. But there is no fun in the gym industry ever since COVID.
Yeah, they kind of. Even the big gyms kind of had to close down, and they had to close shop in different cities.
It changed the whole model for that, though, which helped me, though, right? Is because my whole thing before COVID was I never did contracts. If you didn't want to come to the gym, I'm not going to tell you that you have to pay me for another year anyway, right? I fucking hate contracts. So I never did them. But every other else, they did contracts, right? So I would get a little bit, and then people would cancel, and I'd lose their money and whatever else. COVID made every gym stop doing contracts. So now we even our playing field a little bit, right? So that part helped me out a lot. Now no gym does contracts. Cool. Now then you can try us all.
Right.
Right. So it helped.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think of it like that.
Contracts.
Yeah, I never liked those.
I hate contracts,
man. There's hidden fees. You want to eliminate your thing. Now you got to pay $60, and then you got paid the next month, and you're like, what the heck?
And I just got hit, even in shape, I just got hit with another $100 fee for my annual fee or whatever else. Like, damn it, I forgot about that.
the cleaning fee, as you call it.
Right. You need to buy new mops. It's like, all right, that's cool.
So when you started the first business, the first gym, what was one of the biggest challenges as far as getting it started and finding trainers and figuring out what business model you're going to do that gym?
I knew the model before I ever opened it, and I built it that way, with the whole thing of subcontracted trainers. The biggest issue I had then, and I still have it now, is marketing. Where I screwed up there is I built it all. And I did I legitimately did everything that I could do by myself, for myself. And then I opened it, And I'm just sitting there. It's like, where's everybody at? And it's like, oh, shit. Well, you didn't market. You didn't advertise. You didn't do anything right. The trainers brought some of their clients with them.
Right.
But there's a whole system that should be in play before. Pre-sales, all this shit right now. And I didn't do any of that. I just went to work. I'm going to build a business and we're going to go. So fortunately, I had a good partner and we had a lot of capital at the time that was able to survive for a few months. But then all the trainers came in and that just turned it around. We were debt-free in 17 months.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we paid off everything in 17 months. Yeah, that one flew. But it was a lot of work. But it's marketing. Marketing is everything. And that is hands down my biggest issue. I suck at marketing. I don't do social media. I don't do any of that shit like I'm supposed to. Emails are like the extent of it. I'm old school with that stuff, man. It's crazy. People won't even answer their phones, right? So it's like if credit card cancels, I'm going to call you and I need to update your credit card. People don't answer. I text them. They'll answer. They'll send me a picture of their credit card. They send all the shit. And it's like, you don't even know who I am. Yeah. But, okay, thanks. Luckily, I can just, I'm going to delete it. But it's like, damn, like nobody.
That's crazy.
It's absurd.
Now nobody answers. Nobody wants to talk. Now it's all text.
I'm the same way, bro. If you want
it's easier to get a hold of you, you text.
Yeah, don't call me, man. It better be important if you're calling me.
Text me first, and then, if someone calls me, like, he doesn't call, I'm better answer
Exactly.
this.
Exactly. Whereas some asshole that's going to call me all the time, don't get mad if I don't answer. I already know what you're I don't care what you had for breakfast. We're not talking. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Just the marketing, kind of just put in more of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little bit better since I've been there, kind of with the post and all that.
Yeah, I've gotten better with it. It's definitely a labor-intensive thing for me. That is hands down one of the biggest challenges that I have to force myself to do is this semi-content calendar, right? It's nowhere near what it probably should be.
Yeah.
And now I'm running 2 other pages. I'm running the Moss Wrestling USA page too, right? And it's like, damn it, now I got to add another one on top of that. And I'm screwing that one up right now. But it's a lot of work, and it's all social media. That first gym, what was great, it was all Facebook. Instagram wasn't really a thing yet, right? So it was Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah.
And so I was able to do Facebook ads and stupid shit on that, and I could be self-sufficient. I could set it up once a month, and it would publish and run it all. Doesn't do that anymore, and now it's I don't know. It's out of my league. I am not a tech guy, man.
I can show you some stuff because I had to streamline because I'm so busy. I go boom and boom.
Please.
So even the Instagram to the Facebook. So then you post on 2 pages.
Yeah, it does that now, but only some of them. Only some stories, because if you tag me and I post it,
it won't go to Facebook.
Only some do, and then I have to go back to the story and hit the fucking F button to make it go to Facebook. And it's like, why do I got to do that? Just do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Is that because? But I don't know what the difference is. Only some do and some don't.
Yeah,
so if you post it yourself and he's tagged in it, it will post it. But if he tags you in it and then you repost it, it won't do it.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is.
But then I have to manually do it.
Yeah, I think so.
That's
I'll see if there's an automated part for that. Because on mine, I think it shares
the dumbest thing I heard.
Yeah.
If I shared it, just share the damn thing.
Right? Do your job. The same platform.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And then you said you got up to 3 something, and then to you're about 21, 22.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of was the trigger for you to be like, I need to get my shit together and fucking lose this weight?
Family dying.
Yeah,
okay. Everybody died super young, right? So I remember being really young, and my grandparents were old before I remember them being anything else, right? And so my grandma died first of strokes when how old was she? I don't even think she was 70.
Okay.
And then my grandpa passed a year after that from nonsense, and then I had a great uncle that had passed well before then, right? And everybody in my family was just kind of fat and out of shape, and they're all from Arkansas, right? So it's all south, and we had vegetables covered in butter and garlic, right? And it's it's canned corn with butter on it, and it's like, that's not healthy, and hamburger helper, right? But it's just the way we were raised. Nobody knew.
Yeah.
My parents were super young when they had us, and so they were kids raising kids. They didn't know anything different. And so much of food is just ignorance. A lot of people just don't know.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I mean, for me, the trigger was a lot of death in the family and stupid shit just over food. Like, you got to be kidding, right? And so that's where it's like, nah, this doesn't really make any sense. And so I always went to the gym a little bit. I always worked out, right, in sports and whatever else. But I finally I had a guy that I worked with that was into bodybuilding, Mike Bishelia, little guy, but he was a perfect training partner because he was consistent, right? And so he taught me a lot of consistency, and he started showing me different supplements and such. And he was an integral part to the beginning of learning how to get bodybuilding and all that kind of thing. So he was, I was 21 when I met him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I was 308 pounds at my heaviest.
Oh, then what was and then from the first time you took the fat loss, what did you get down to?
I got down to 194 pounds.
Oh, dang.
It was weird looking though.
And then was that the time you kind of were like, I'm going to try bodybuilding? When you lost all
so
the
I did
weight?
bodybuilding with him like before. I lost a bunch of weight and whatever. And then I moved down here in the spring of 2008, right? So I didn't have a gym membership yet. And so all I was doing was running. And I had never been a runner. I fucking hated running. But that's all I had to do. And I was stressed out and I didn't have anything else, right? And so part of the thing too that I don't care if we want to get into it or not, but nobody gets 300 pounds because they like cookies.
Right.
There's some trauma in there.
No, yes.
It's an addiction of some kind, right? And so for me, I had to figure out what that was, and I know what it was, and I was abused as a kid, and so that kind of food was my addiction. Food was my cover. It's going to make me feel better, and so I switched that addiction to working out. And when I moved here and I didn't have a gym, so I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go running. And so I ran. God, I was running 6-7 minute miles. It was probably the best shape I've ever been in from running. I had an apartment behind Home Depot on Stein and Ming. So I would run from there down to Coffee and back in like 48 minutes. And it was like 3.5 miles each way. So I was cooking for a minute.
Yeah.
And I got down to like 100. Yeah, it was stupid good. I was like, damn, is that right? Like, all right, cool. So I got down to like 194 pounds, and then I had a street bike, and I saw a picture of myself on my street bike that my mom had taken, and I was like, this looks stupid. Like, this doesn't work. I'm all barrel chested and no arms and nothing else. I was like, this looks bad. So that's when I started lifting weights and started doing it right.
Then all the bodybuilding.
Yeah, I didn't really get into bodybuilding, so that was 23, 24. Lifted heavy, right? So that's all I cared about was trying to do was lift heavy. I had a bunch of guys in the gym. My mentor, Frank, and a couple other guys, we just started getting big and started working out, and he taught me all that stuff. And then 27 to 29 is when I got into bodybuilding. So that's where, there's a lot of drugs with bodybuilding. That's where I learned how to do all that stuff. And that's the other part of bodybuilding that I don't like is, fuck, man, I got tired of pinning every other day, every day when you're getting close. And it doesn't matter if you're doing a lot or a little, you still have to do it.
Yeah.
And that's the other bullshit that nobody tells anybody. It's like, go be a bodybuilder and eat your steak and do your protein shakes and it'll work. No, it won't. Like, if you want to be if you're cool being 10th place, then by all means, of course. But if you want to win, then fucking do it. You got to do this stuff. And I did, and it worked good. And I was 220 pounds at 6.5%. And like, it looked good. I was ready. And then that was the one injury that I had lifting weights was I tore a bicep doing shoulder press. So of all things, it didn't even make any sense. But that stopped that. So.
Ooh.
So how long did you do that for? Was it a couple years?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. I had a deal with my wife at the time that I was like, let me do this and let me see where it goes. And when I'm done, we'll do the kid thing. And that's what happened, right? So once that happened, then I was like, all right, well, that's done. So that's when we had our daughter.
Oh, okay.
So.
Nice. And as far as like going back to strongman, what's been one of your favorite memories for yourself as just like you competing? And then also what's been one of your memories of like your all your students that you've gone and like rewarding kind of thing?
My favorite part in competing, the best year I ever had in competition was ironically 2020 when everything was shut down and I was able to just focus on my training. I worked out, I won shows, I did the best that I had ever done in any year of competing because I didn't have to deal with everybody else. I didn't have to deal with business. I didn't have to train anything else. So that was probably my best year. And that was fun. And then in September, I went to Kazakhstan. Oh, yeah. Competed in Moss wrestling there at the World Nomad Games. That was definitely a highlight moment, right? Like, that's a stage, man. Like, that was cool. That was cool. That was a hell of an experience.
Yeah, I can only imagine, especially that goat thing.
Oh, yeah. The different games that they play for their culture is really, really cool. And to be a part of that was just intense. The country was beautiful. The people were amazing. It was, it's the Asian Olympics is what they call it, right? So, I mean, there was 86 athletes from 40-something countries in just Moss wrestling. Oh, and so then there was everything else that they did, and like that goat game and everything else. They pick it up and crazy. No, and then there's a game they play like bocce ball, right? You know what that is, where they're throwing it, but they do it with animal bones. And it's crazy. Like, so
That
they
is
get down.
pretty crazy.
Yeah. So that was a highlight. And then as far as the athletes go, man, the best part of that is just seeing people progress.
Oh yeah.
You know, seeing everybody's progression is hands down the best, you know, because that half of these guys, same thing. They've never done it before. They don't know what it is. You know, Big Eric at the gym, he just did the best comp he's ever had in 2 years of trying to do this stuff. He's got a hell of a story. He was almost 600 pounds at one point, and now he's down to 250, 280, whatever it is. And he just had his first event, the first competition where he blew 2 events out of the water, right? Like that's a cool moment, you know? So seeing people progress and when they really, really learn what they're capable of, that's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I find the way you coach them, you kind of bring it out of them.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing that I think I've been able to help them is I'm not the most technical savvy guy. I'm not going to give you the best direction on how to do a certain thing, but I'm going to make sure that you believe that you can. And giving them a safe place to where they feel like they can and they're trust themselves. I think that's the most important thing is you got to learn how to trust yourself because you're moving 6, 7, 8, 900 pounds. You can't have any doubt because if you doubt something, you're fucked.
They're not gonna be able to move it.
You ain't going to do it. And if you do, it's going to hurt. So, I mean, you have to be able to turn that off and you got to be able to provide them a safe place where they can trust themselves and they got to trust you. And it's fun. I love that stuff. That's the best part.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you got to EFC, was it already strongman or was that something that kind of slowly came into the gym?
Man. No, I built that. When I started, EFC was no strongman. It was just training and group stuff. It's funny, I get memory pictures of 7, 8 years ago when I first opened it, and it was so empty looking. It was like, oh, damn, it looks actually kind of clean. Strongman didn't start until 2018 when I started it, and it was a section where the lat pull-down station is now in the back roll-up door. It was that tiny little section. Like, that was my spot where me and my buddy Mike would train, and that was it. And then I started bringing more clients into it, and then more people got interested, and now it's the whole fucking back half of the gym, right? So,
it's growing. Big. I was like, when I got there, I was like, this is crazy logs, the stones, because that's what I used to see as a kid. Yeah, I was just like, oh dang,
it's crazy. It definitely. I mean, it grows, and it's so fun teaching people because again, it's you. Everybody watch this shit on TV. Yeah, and you know to be able to pick the shit up that these guys were doing, you know, obviously not the same weight, but to just play with it. Yeah. It's something that nobody ever thought they could do. So that part's always been fun.
Yeah, because I've seen it when you get trained them, even like Anthony and them, it's like, what the heck?
Yeah, man. Anthony's a beast. Anthony's a beast.
Yeah, and even Eric, like you said, he's came a long way. Even since I've been there, I've seen his strength progress from here, and his confidence.
His
confidence has gone from here to like, here.
It's the mind space, man. It's always a headspace mindset of always be better, always push for more. And I don't give a fuck about winning. And I tell everybody this. All my clients says, I don't give a shit. I don't care if you win. Like obviously you've seen all the trophies and the medals. Like everybody does well. But you got to take that pressure of winning off first, right? Like just perform. Exactly.
Have fun performing. Yeah.
Don't get hurt. Yeah. That's a win. If you can get through a whole competition without getting hurt, that's a win. Okay, now you got confidence. Cool. Next one, you're going to do a little better, right? Good. All right. Next one, we're going to do better.
Progression.
Exactly. It's all about progression and slow and natural progression. Yes, obviously we could jam gear in everybody and watch them blow, right? But it's just, it doesn't work. It's not real. Take your time, learn how to eat, learn how to supplement, learn how to do all these things properly, and then we can go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they don't move too fast. You're like, people think you take more, you're going to get more. Like, no, that's not how it works. Yeah. You take more, you're going to have more problems.
Real quick. Because it's a false sense of security. It's a false confidence, and then you can do things and blah, blah, blah. And there's always a lot of ego and whatever. That's what I like about strongman, man. There is no ego.
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed, even talking to all the strongmen, even at the CVS from last year, everyone was just like all jolly and happy, and everyone was cool, and no one was like bickering at each other, or like ego yelling, or because that's what you see more in the fitness world, especially in Bakersfield, is what I've noticed.
Yeah, Bakersfield's big for that.
So I've learned, at least for me, because I've seen I've learned to just stay in my lane and just mind my business. And
you know, it's like, I think it's so much of with strongman, especially, right? Like I said, there's no set rules on how it's going to be done. Yeah. So if I do it this way, you do it that way, and you do it the other way, how the fuck did you do that, right? Like your way is definitely faster than mine, so show me how that worked. And everybody has that idea. Yeah. Martins Lisi's, right? World's strongest man.
He's a beast.
But he comes and hangs out and gives tips, right? Like he was giving me Moss tips at the LA Fit Expo. He's giving people tips at the Coachella Strongest.
Badass.
He'll be here in February for mine because a couple of his athletes from his gym are coming here. But he's the nicest, just chill guy that wants to lift weights, and he's got a propensity to do it really fucking well, you know. But but it's just that kind of. There's no ego. There's no I'm the world's strongest man. I'm the Arnold's strongest man. There's none of that shit. It's I'm going to help. I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to give you some tips, and if it works for you, great. And if not, then let's figure it out, right? Like it's so much more chill.
And that's what's pretty cool about it. That's what I've noticed, like just looking out in. I'm like, oh, even talking to everyone where they train, they're all having a good time.
You know, if for nothing else, that's why I try and pull people into it, just because I don't. Again, you might not win, you might not do shit, but you can have fun training, you have fun learning different stuff, and a whole group of people that's going to cheer you on and figure it out, right? Like that is the coolest thing to me.
Oh yeah, it's definitely nice seeing them. Oh, nice.
Yeah, everybody.
Especially when you guys practice over there with the Moss wrestling.
Man,
I know you're trying to get me in it.
Man, you would destroy people. I have no doubts.
Maybe one day.
I'm going to get you in there. Yeah, you and Moss would do really, really well. I'm pushing on that one. I'm not going to let that one go. I'm taking a team to Canada in July. You're coming.
What got you into Moss, actually?
It was a part of the first competition that I did.
Oh, so it was the first competition.
Yeah, Ode Hagen does strongman and Moss wrestling, and that was like one of the events, right? So the very first day, the first competition that I ever did was you had to do the super yoke, which I had never done, a log press I had never done, a double axle deadlift, farmer's carry, and then Moss, right? So I had no idea what the hell Moss was. By the end of this day, I'm so fucking stiff and sore, like I couldn't even touch my toes, right? And so with Moss, you got to sit on your butt and reach forward and do this thing. First competition, like I lost stupidly fast, and I thought I was done for the day, so I just left. I didn't know it was a double elimination format. I didn't know any of this shit. So I did one quickest I've ever got my ass beaten anything, and I just left.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, I didn't know. And so then I figured it all out, and I learned how it was. And, you know, for anybody that loves sports, Moss is it. To me, it's show me what you got. I'm going to learn, because you have to be able to be adaptive really, really quick, because everything is about how the other person moves. I can move how I want. That's fine. But if they're stronger or have better technique and they're able to counter it and move, now I got to beat their counter technique, right? So I love the strategy that's required. And again, it's movement. You got to be able to move, you know, and if you can't move your hips and you can't move your legs and you can't move your back and your shoulders and you can't sync it up and be as strong as hell at the same time, you're going to get your ass kicked. And it's fun, man. Moss has become a definite big passion of mine because it is so unique and it is so still head to head. I'm going to rip your fucking face off, and then we're going to shake hands when we're done, right? Yeah. Like it's as close to football as I can get.
Yeah, without hitting each other.
Exactly. It's frowned upon.
You definitely need to take Rudy out there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
So Moss is fun.
Yeah. So now you're the Moss president? Moss
Wrestling USA president. Yep. So Ode is still acting president, and then I'm going to be taking over for him when he's done.
Okay.
So right now I do all the MC stuff for all the international or for the national Moss events.
Okay.
And then we help organize and get those running so we can grow the sport in the States. I'll be taking the next team up to Canada. Ode's taking a team to Norway. And then we're trying to get a new roster. So when I went to Kazakhstan, that's a biannual thing. It's an every 2-year competition. I was the only American that went.
Oh shoot!
And
that's badass.
Yeah, but it's also crap because I am by far not the best Moss wrestler, and so it's like in my weight class, I'm a top 5 guy at best, right? So by no means am I going to do much better than that, and I'm okay with that. And I'm old, right? So it's like I'm 40 now, and I'm going against these guys. The fucking 2 guys that beat me. One was a 26-year-old from Azerbaijan who squats like 700 pounds.
Damn.
And the other guy's a 27-year-old Canadian who's the nicest damn Canadian he's like, damn, every stereotype, you're it. Nicest fucking guy. But same thing, he squats 750 pounds, 800-pound deadlift, and it's like, you guys are 27 doing this? I was like, man, I was proud to do a pull-up at 27. But it's like, all right.
That's fucking crazy.
So that's what these guys are doing, though, now, right? And they're all, for whatever, I don't know, they're just, the kid from Canada, I think I told you this, Louis Cyr.
Yeah.
The Cyr dumbbell is
his great-grandfather.
Yeah, great-grandfather. It's like, fuck, the genetics, man. Because even his hands were like this big. And he's an inch taller than me. Like, that math don't math out right. And it's like, the guy was just the nicest, coolest guy, though. But
he's like, hey, guy.
Yeah, and I hear him say hey a few times. He was like, you are doing it. So it was funny. Yeah, he was a good dude.
That's
but
funny.
now it's just there. But yeah, so I was the only American that was there, but there should have been so many more, but nobody knew about it. And there's no the channels and the organization that should be put in place to grow this sport for Team USA is definitely inadequate. And so as busy as I am running all my stuff, Ode, the current president, is in the same boat. He runs way too many things. Andy still competes in certain things, right?
Oh,
so
dang.
he doesn't, oh man, the guy's a freak. I was watching him today.
He's tall. I see his foot's like this big.
6'4", 250 pounds at 74 years old. Will still do.
Shit.
He was doing a one hand today because I was training down there today. A rolling thunder is a 2.5-inch rolling ball bearing
Oh
grip.
yeah. Like the kind of one we have.
Only harder because it's ball bearing, right? Like that one just
shit.
free spins.
Yeah.
220 pounds with one hand, he just picks it up. At 74 years
shit.
old.
Damn.
The guy's a freak. The amount of records this man holds is still
Holy
awesome,
moly.
right? So I love that guy.
Insane.
So he has a lot on his plate. So anyway, that's where I'm coming in and we're separating it and we're building it out. But there should have been at least 10 athletes that went with me.
Yeah.
And the state of Kazakhstan paid for all of it,
Oh,
right?
shit.
So it's all covered and sponsored stuff, right? So all you got to pay for is anything extra that you want. Airfare, hotel, they fed you. They did everything
Oh, shit.
to the 10th degree. It was the coolest experience, and nobody knows about it. Like that blows me away.
Yeah.
And so America is kind of the joke when it comes to Moss, just because nobody knows it, and the people that do show up get their ass kicked there, right? So it's like that's not okay. So we're building a roster, and I'm working on building. That's where now the LA Fit Expo in a couple weeks.
Oh, okay.
That's part 1. The Arnold's part 2, and the Olympia's part 3, right? So now I got to start building rosters, and I got to take 2 people from every weight class.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And then, so did he come to you, be like, "Hey, Eric, do you want to help me with this?"
Yep, he did. Yeah, so he came to me and asked me and asked me to be a part of it, which is obviously an honor, but it's a learning curve, and there's a whole international aspect of it even, right? So we're trying to get things ready for the Arnold. If you are coming to compete for the Arnold, I'm still learning the difference between a visa and a fucking passport, right? Like, why does somebody need a visa for all these things? And there's just so much that goes into I can't communicate. If you were an athlete in Russia, I can't communicate with you. We have to communicate with a diplomat to communicate with an embassy, and they have to communicate, right? It's just a paperwork nightmare.
Yeah.
So he's still doing the international stuff. I'm doing the national stuff while we build that out, and then we'll get going. But it's crazy. But yeah, he brought me in to help, and I'm the new face of it, right? That's why I'm doing the MC and I'm in all that stuff, and so it's a lot of fun. I enjoy that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how is the emceeing? Do you have like a good time? Like,
I love it. Nah, it's so fast, right?
Yeah.
So have you seen any of this mod stuff yet?
It's pretty cool.
It's fun, but it's fast, and so a good match is over in a second.
Oh, wow.
Right? But the ones that are exciting to watch, maybe 30 seconds.
Okay.
But that means if it's over in a second, what the hell am I going to say?
Oh man!
He got beat. All right, up the middle, right? So it's learning how to communicate and how to have fun, right? So John is the main referee. He lives out in Indiana. And so I love it when he's the main referee for U.S. stuff because I'm able to just banter and talk shit to him. But we do, right? I mean, that's the fun of it, too, is I know all the athletes because I've competed against these guys for the last 4 years. I've competed at the Arnold. I've competed at the Olympia. I've done all this stuff as an athlete, and they know me from that.
Yeah.
And so it makes it fun. I can just kind of talk and make it easy, right? So I'm not just some guy up there with a mic. We're able to talk and talk shit. And, two, that's also why I like taking my own athletes because I have my own relationship with them.
Yeah.
So the MC stuff is tricky because you have to be quick on your feet and learn how to say things really quick. But as long as you know the sport and you know the guys, it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good time.
It's fun.
You wear a little coat, a
New
little sports
experience.
coat.
Yeah. The coat thing for me, it's right, is I used to do it, when I've been a part of it, the MCs and refs and whatever, they can wear and do whatever they want, right? Obviously. But to me, it's like if you want the sport to grow, you got to get some attention into it, right?
Yeah.
Every detail matters.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's why, like, all right, well, I'm going to suit it up a little bit, and I'm going to dress up, and I'm going to make sure that I got something fun to say, and I'm going to talk shit and make somebody laugh, right? Because there's got to be a way to get somebody engaged. People sitting and pulling somebody over on a stick, all right, I got it. I saw it in 3 seconds. I'm going to move on, right? So, I mean, there's got to be something more to engage with.
Yeah.
And so that's where I think it's my job and John and the ref guy and making the athletes lighten up and have kind of fun with it.
Yeah.
Within reason.
Yeah, not too crazy.
Nah, if they get too loose, then nobody's going to do anything. So, but it's fun. It's a fun thing to do.
Okay. And then going back to more fitness, when did you start like lifting? Was it when you were trying to lose the weight, or were you kind of doing stuff before?
I never really lifted before. I would go with my dad, right? So strength is something that's genetic for me. My dad was stupid strong. He never worked out much, right? But I remember still, we'd go to the gym. God, let's see, I worked swing shift at this time, so I was 17, 18, 19, 18. And he'd bench 285 for reps, and I'd never seen him touch a bench press in his life. And it's just
crazy.
And it's like, damn, all right, I can do that. And it's like, no, we can't. And so I learned, and the strength come easy, but I never really lifted weights until I was damn near 20, where I started really taking it seriously. Yeah.
And then when you started, what was the biggest challenge for you as far as like, was it waking up to go to the gym? Like,
no, probably just learning how to eat. Learning how to do the nutrition part was the most challenging. Lifting weights that part's fine, right? When I was 20, 21, 22, I still have every issue of Flex magazine that was issued in that time, right? Like I've bought them all. I've got them all in boxes and libraries. Like I read everything you could read on bodybuilding and lifting weights. And so I followed a form. I don't know, how long have you been following bodybuilding stuff? Anything?
Probably for me, the last like 10 years or so.
Okay, well, this is where I'm aging myself then, right? Because 20 years ago, it was David, Henry, and these bodybuilders, they did a form. It was called DC training, right? It was called dog crap training is what their philosophy of it was, right? And it was every workout you had to beat last week's workout. So if it was a chest press day, you're either going 5 pounds up in weight or adding more reps to whatever the movement was. And you have to do that on every movement of every workout.
Oh, dang.
And so it's like, damn, that's intense, right? So it was like, all right, so we did it, right? And we did that for probably a year. And it was, every stupid muscle tech supplement, right? I don't the same thing, I'm aging myself, but Lukic, Creakic, Gakic, right? All these stupid supplements that make no sense now whatsoever looking back on it. But we were GNC buying all this shit, like, this is what we got to do. And it was fun, but that was probably the hardest part is learning how to eat. But back then it was just, all right, well, I'm just going to read this and follow it. And that's what he did. Now everybody does it on their phone, right? It's the same thing with Instagram. But
same thing, just different platforms.
It's so much shittier though now, right? Is now I'm just going to watch a video.
Yeah.
And nobody's teaching me anything. When I'm reading these things, it's teaching you the cues. And it's teaching you how to grab and move and pull and use your leverages properly, right?
Yeah,
and there's just so much difference.
People don't take the initiative to go read stuff.
Nope. Show me
like
the
read
video.
The manual. It's like, oh, that was cool. Let me try that. It's like, what the heck?
And now you're watching them do it, and it's like, that's not right, like on any level.
Yeah, that looks like an awkward.
It's so bad. It's...
I think it's social media kind of caused a lot of confusion amongst just your average lifter because they see these people do these crazy things, and they think they can do it.
Oh, yeah.
Or they do these workouts where it's like this. And it's like, I've had clients send me stuff. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
So when I do
no
this,
reason to do
we're
this.
going to do something else. We're going to work out the same muscles, but we're not going to do them all at the same time.
But what's the point? We can get it all done at once, right? Like, come on. It's the same thing with group classes, though, right? We tried to build this model that's based on proper personal training.
Yeah.
But I saw this guy do this one workout that was just absolutely crazy, and it looked so fun. But it did nothing, right? It's like, great, you fried your central nervous system, and now your body's done for the next 2 days. But okay, let's do that. So it's crazy.
Let's have a great time.
Yeah, so social media is definitely disillusioned.
Yeah, and that's where you that's what I always tell my clients when they tell me, I said, I stick to the basics. I know what I know. I keep furthering my learning from people who have been in the industry for the last 15, 20 years. Like I just got a new mentor in strength training, and he does everything I can pretty much do, and he's like 270.
Nice.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to go read his stuff, kind of talk to him. So I always tell my clients, keep it simple.
Yep.
I know it works. Just listen and you'll be fine.
The basics are where it's at always.
Yeah.
It's
and I tell
always
people,
the basics.
Lifting is boring. It's like, there's no way. You're not going to go club and drink and like, woo, we're going to go party in the gym. Like, no, it's boring. And it's just, if you want to further your health, you're going to go to the gym. And if you don't want to further your health, then you're going to go entertain yourself.
Right. If you want to be entertained, this isn't the sport. This isn't the education for it.
And it's going to take a while. It's not going to be overnight.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And everyone wants that shot, the pill. Like, I want it fast.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And it's like, no, you didn't get
What's
here
the fastest way to get there?
Nobody wants to work for it. And that's part of the too, right? The disillusionment that social media has caused is everybody makes it look so easy.
Yeah.
It's not that easy. It's the same boring shit for years.
Yeah.
Do it for years.
Yep.
Same bent over rows, same push-ups, same chest press, same everything.
Then you can, exactly.
Then you can change it, but
exactly
not much.
Get the basics and just build the foundation before you start doing all this.
Yeah.
But yeah, the social media, the influencers, especially with all the Photoshop, all this other stuff, kind of
It's
messes
real.
with people's brains, and I think it messes with your average lifter. It's like, oh, I want to be like that, and it's like, no, you can't. He got
can't.
genetics. He's on some other gear. He's taking this. He's taking that.
And he's worked out for 20 years.
Exactly.
You know,
He's
it's like,
20 years on you.
That's a big thing, you know, is like it's so interesting to go to these gyms now, right? And you see nothing but teenagers posing and taking pictures and all this shit. And on one hand, like, God dang it, get out of the way. Take your picture in the bathroom at home like the rest of us do.
Yeah.
Right? But at the other side of it, it's like, good for you for wanting to do something, right? So it's like, I'll never get mad and talk shit about these guys, but it's like, that's the world we're in now.
Yeah.
When I was 17, 16, I did not have a gym membership, and I sure as hell was not posing in a mirror.
Yeah, me neither.
Right. I didn't.
I was just lifting weights. I was just like,
I was out at parties or doing other stuff, right? So now
Doing
it's like,
both.
yeah, good for these kids, but it's just different, right? So it's just a different world, man. And like I said, that's the shit that makes me
That's the
sound
new
old.
world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's different.
yeah. So that's all I've always just said about educating the people properly, not
Yeah.
staring them the wrong way.
Properly is the hard part, right? Because how do you tell them that without being offensive? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put the phone down.
Yeah.
Learn how to do this proper, right?
Yeah.
But it's
it's
hopefully
an
everybody gets a
art.
mentor sooner than later.
Yeah.
Right? And-
Yeah. Because sometimes you just gotta let them. Well, you just
Yep.
go ahead, do your thing.
Yep. I'm gonna watch this circus for a minute.
You're gonna
yeah.
learn the hard
yeah.
way.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's super cool, right? Because fitness
Yeah.
was nothing that I gave a shit about when I was 18, 16, 17,
Yeah.
right? So to see these kids all doing it now, it's like, good for you. And if that's from social media, cool, so be it. Y'all want to be Chris Bumstead? Do it. I'm for it,
Yeah.
right? Knock yourself out.
At least they're working out. The only other thing is they just stay on the machine a little too long sometimes.
Yeah, well, they got to edit their pictures. you
Or
know?
you just like, hey, can I work in? And they're like, oh, I got 2 more sets.
Yeah, I don't even ask anymore. It's like, I'll just find something else to do. I've been doing this long enough. I can do it without a machine. Fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing I've noticed as far when I would go to all the commercial
Oh,
gyms.
man.
It's just- but then like when I've gone to LA, it's not like that.
No.
It's very odd.
Yeah.
I go to LA, it's way different.
Yeah.
The gyms there are not like they're here. Here
No.
it's like kids doing stuff. Over there, if you ask them, hey, you can't work it, they're usually, oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, they're used to it more there for sure.
Yeah,
Right?
'cause I think it's because it's a much bigger community of fitness people.
yeah.
I think is what it is.
They've grown up in it, right?
Yeah.
So much here. That's why I don't have the kid rule at the gym, right? Like I let kids into the gym and I let them watch their parents.
Yeah.
That's not something that I grew up with. Most kids here don't work out with their
No,
parents,
no.
you know. Anywhere LA, that's what they do. They all work out. It's all fit
Yeah.
thing, right? Fitness is a
Exactly.
very home thing. Here it's not. There's 1 or 2 of you, maybe.
Yeah.
And that's always been an issue, right? Especially working with clients. If you have a
Yeah.
spouse that's not on board with what I'm just doing, the other spouse, then the whole thing gets screwed up.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
and then the kid too, if they have a kid, sometimes that's being the biggest deterrent. Sometimes like, wow, I got a kid. It's like, oh yeah, bring him in.
Yep.
I always tell them, yeah, they can stand here,
Yeah.
whatever. They watch you, kind of get motivated. I always say it's always good when the kids watch you because they'll pick up the habit and they'll
Exactly.
start doing it. Like that one, the one client you had where his kid was coming and he was mimicking me. And I was like, this is
Yep,
freaking cool.
yep, Jornell.
Doing the
I love that,
lunges
man.
all the way, lunges,
Yep,
lunges,
yep.
lunges.
Brought his own dumbbells from home.
Yeah.
He brought his own 2 pounds dumbbells to
I'm
work out
ready.
with his dad. It was the coolest
Yeah.
thing.
And then he's
But that's,
over there
yeah, man, that
doing
just doesn't happen
squats.
enough.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. It's like, okay, nice.
Kids need to be comfortable, you
Oh,
know, and
yeah.
there's home daycare. Like everybody asked me, are you going to do a kids care at the gym? Like my first gym didn't have it and I refused to do it here because it's the same thing. You want your kid to sit in front of watch TV, they can do that shit at home. I'm not going
Yeah.
to do it here.
They
Bring
at
them to
least
the
watch
floor.
you, yeah.
Bring them to the floor. My daughter's grown up in that gym. Like,
Yeah.
it's fine. They're not going to get hurt, and if they
Right.
do, it's only going to be once. They'll figure
Yeah.
it out. You know? So
They're smart.
Yeah, they don't like pain,
Nah.
so they'll figure it out.
No, they definitely don't. They're like, ooh, don't
Yeah,
do that again.
they didn't like that part.
Yeah. So is that something you've always just had rule, the kids rule, just
Yeah.
at the old gym too, and then this one?
Yep, kids welcome. You know, it's as long as my rule for like, can they work out with me? If they can follow direction, absolutely. If they just want to go fuck around and do their own thing, let them.
Yeah.
Like, let them watch you because they're going to want to see and do what you're doing eventually.
I don't think there's any gym that does that here in town.
Nope,
at
not
all.
many.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple CrossFit gyms I think do.
Yeah.
But not many of them. It's so important, right? And like I said, I was that kid who never had that, and so
Right.
it's been a blessing, right? My
It's just-
daughter is.
yeah.
I love it. I love having my kid in there.
Yeah. It's almost like you want to give back to what you didn't have as a kid to help,
100%.
help them. Just like, oh, dad's working out, mom's working out.
It's comfortable.
I need to do this.
It's comfortable,
Oh, yeah.
right? Like it's got to be second nature. Otherwise,
Oh, yeah.
it's always going to feel alien.
Yeah, exactly. And then going back to kind of when you started the fat loss, it's when you switched the nutrition, was it more of a mental thing you had to switch as far as like, all right, I need to start eating this, or did you detach the emotion to the food?
Detaching, that's a good question. Detaching the emotion was a part of it.
Because that's something I dealt with when I was kind of the emotional eating.
Figuring out what you're emotional about was an interesting one, right? So like I said, I was abused, so I had to deal with that in a certain way. That was a whole different process. But yeah, a lot of it was just, how would I put that one? Just changing habits, man. Like I'm a volume eater, volume drinker, right? So big one too is milk for me. I drink a lot of milk. Milk to me is my gateway drug. I say that to everybody. So it's like, man, if I have milk, then that means I'm going to eat anything that goes with it. And so I used to take the gallon of milk to the dinner table with me and drink half a gallon of milk with dinner.
Oh, shoot.
I do that now with water, right? So it's the same thing, but it would be with milk. And so when I cut milk out of my diet, I lost like 25 pounds in the first month.
Oh, dang. So you drink a lot of milk.
I drink a lot of milk, right? But then if you look at the history of milk, right, is milk was used for lead poisoning, right? So if you had lead poisoning when you were sick in the early 1900s or 1800s, they would give you milk because that slows the digestion and absorption down, and then it would pass through your system and you'd be okay, right? So the same thing happens with food. If you're eating food and drinking milk, nothing's getting absorbed the way it should. You're not getting any of the nutrients it should. And it's all just going to get stored and broken down, whatever's left, and then the rest gets picked out and messed around, right? So besides the caloric effect of milk, which is whatever, it just really fucks with how your body digests food.
Yeah.
And so you got to, I don't know. To me, it was when I cut that out, I lost a shitload of weight. And then I just learned how to eat more frequently, not just so much binge eating and meal prep. But even still, man, I remember I was doing construction at the time, and so I would, a buddy of mine gave me banana-flavored GNC protein. It's the most disgusting shit.
Yeah, the first protein powder my uncle gave me, I was like, ooh.
But I drank it, and I ate it, and I put it in Ziploc bags, and I took 3 of those to work every day, and I would have eggs every day, and I would do cardio right after work before I got home, and I just learned how to put it all together.
They just one step at a time. Almost.
Yeah. Cutting out what didn't feel right. So all the milk and I'm a big pastries and cookie guy, right? Yeah. So I love that shit. So putting some of that away and not stop drinking a lot too, right? That was the big one, right? If you look at, I post a couple pictures. I haven't done it in years, but I need to. But I was a big beer drinker, and just same thing, half gallon of milk. Well, I'm gonna drink this keg of beer, and that's what we did every weekend at my apartment. Me and my guys up in Seattle, we would just drink. All the time. That's all it was. Drinking games and fucking beer fest, right? Remember that movie? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was us. We had it for fun. Like, oh, cool. We're doing that shit. Yeah. And that's what we did every weekend. And, lots and lots of drinking. So when I started working out and getting myself in shape, I quit drinking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Kind of put it down for a little bit.
That's when you started seeing big changes.
Big changes. Yeah.
Quick.
Big, yeah. And then I took it was a supplement. I'm trying to remember what it was. But it was kind of like a test booster, but it was an over-the-counter test booster, and I took that for the first time, and in a month, like I went from 250 to 220, like that, and it was like, what the fuck just happened? And I remember even my boss, because I was still doing construction at the time, I walked in, and I was picking up my paycheck, and he's like, Eric, your stomach's gone. And I was like, the fuck you? Oh, damn. You're right. All right, cool. And I was like, cool. All right, cool. That I'm going to keep going now, right? And so it was a process. But yeah, it just kind of, like I said, I'm an addict. And so learning how to get addicted to the fitness part of it and to working out into the routine and then the results and then that kind of thing is where it got. Yeah.
So I would just say as an addict as well, you have to turn your bad addict tendencies to positive ones.
100%.
Because we're always addicts, no matter what. Yep. You're going to do this, you're going balls to the wall. You're like, I'm going to go all the way in because that's what I'm addicted to. I just like to just go. So that addiction, I always even tell my clients, take your negative addictions. You're always going to be an addict, whether it's food, this or that.
Yep.
Now put it to gym, get addicted to eating well, get addicted to walking, running, whatever it is you feel like doing, stretching, to help you obviously feel better over time.
Right.
But yeah, I always say, you got to change the bad addictions to the positive addictions.
Yep. And there's got to be the mental wherewithal to handle the why you're addicted in the first place. And that's the part that most people don't deal with, right? And that's my favorite role as a trainer is like I'm only a trainer like 2% of the time.
I'm a therapist.
I'm a therapist 98% of the other time. You know, and
Yeah.
that's first and foremost. And I think that's what's helped me be successful as long as I have been, is I'm able to create these relationships with my clients. I've had the same clients for fucking damn near, what year is it?
20, 24. About to be 25.
16 years I've had some of the same clients,
nice.
right? So
Yeah, see, that's good.
yeah, and it's just relationships, you know, and creating a safe place. And like I'm not the guy, like most trainers wake up and they're trainers because they woke up with abs and this is easy and I'm going to teach you how to do it. The fuck it is. It's real, right? Like this is life, man. Like you got to work for everything. I've had to work for it, so I'm not going to sit there and hold you to the fire if you fucked up today.
Yeah.
But let's figure it out, right?
Exactly.
And so I mean that's everything.
Yeah, I always say, if you mess up, hey, I'm not going to be mad. It's just going to take longer.
Just set yourself back.
Just say, I'm not mad. You know, let's just get back on the wagon. It happens.
Yep.
I told you at the beginning, most likely this isn't happen because it happened to me on my roller coaster ride.
And it still happens.
And it's still, you're like,
we're still living this life,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So it's still a roller coaster.
Exactly. It's just figuring out how to make the proper adjustments to not let yourself go back to where we were at one point, right?
Right. That's always my conversation with Big Eric, is he's always saying, I don't want to go back. And it's like, well, you're not. Like, you're not that same guy anymore, man. Like, that's but that fear is always there, right?
Yeah.
And that's the part that, even for myself, it took a long time to not be afraid of, well, if I stop, then I'm going to go back. No, you're not. Like, you're not even anywhere near that same person anymore. You're okay. Take a break. Take a day off. It's still going to be there tomorrow. Like, you're okay. Yeah. That's the hard part.
Yeah, it really
is teaching
is.
people to just kind of, but if you don't deal with that issue as to why you were that way, then it's very easy to go back.
Yeah.
You have to deal with that issue first.
Because that's the biggest one, where it's the blockade or not dealing with whatever the trauma, whatever it may have been.
You got to know what that is first. And then once you do and it doesn't have power over you, then you're able to calm down and kind of relax a little bit, right? To me, that's always the thing. If you get emotional about it, you're not over it. Mm-mm. We got to talk about this like grown-ups. We got to figure out what it is, why it is, how it affects you. And once you're done with that emotional part, you've changed. You've grown, right? It's not scary. It's not this big, scary ghost and the demon in the closet anymore.
Exactly.
It's okay.
Yeah. So now we're getting kind of closer to the new year. For anyone kind of trying to finally start their fitness journey, what advice would you give someone who wants to start, and something for them to kind of keep going?
Why do they want to start in the first place is always the biggest reason to keep going.
Finding the why.
So whatever, the why is everything. You know, for me is, it used to be my therapy, my addiction, right? I'm angry and I'm emotional. I'm going to go lift weights since I can't eat all the shit I want to eat, right? So I'm going to go lift weights. As I'm getting older, I don't have the anger as much anymore, right? So then it turned into competition. Well, now that I'm not even able to compete as much anymore, okay, well, now what do I got to do, right? So now it's just learning how to set the example and just kind of, if I don't do it, then my body feels infinitely worse if I didn't do it. Mm-hmm. So now I just got to do it. Otherwise, it's going to suck anyway. So for people that want to start, just start. Start with something easy. Don't go to the gym and walk on the treadmill. Take a class. Like, if you're that guy that needs a class, then do the class. The group thing is great. You just got to find a group that clicks. If you can find a group that supports you and it's fun and it's light and it's easy in your fucking mind, then it's okay. But if you walk in dreading it, you're not going to do it.
You're not going to stick to it.
You're not going to stick to it. It's awful.
Or if you walk in balls deep.
Exactly.
Like you said, take it easy. Start from the bottom and work yourself there.
Yep, and that's something I've really worked hard with for this model at this gym here, right, is with spin class, right? You've done a spin class before, or have you heard them before, right? You walk by and they're just fucking yelling at you all the time, right? CrossFit, same thing. Sure, we'll give you a PVC pipe, but it's still, the thing is, you're still competing with other people. Yeah. If you have any competitive spirit about you whatsoever, I'm taking that PVC pipe and I'm going to throw it, and I'm going to do what everybody else is doing because I want to, and then I'm going to be dead for 2 weeks and I'm not going back.
Yeah.
With what we've built at EFC now, right, is it's scalable. Everything is taught by a trainer who's more sympathetic than you are going to be, and so they're going to take it easy on you at first. That's always my number one thing, is if there's somebody new in class, I tell it, the instructors know, pay extra attention. Yeah. Walk them through it. Be easy, right? So that's where I'm saying you got to find something that fits, because if you go in too hard, too fast, it's over.
Oh, yeah.
Any asshole can make somebody sore.
That's easy.
And you fucking move for 3 days, and you're like, I need 2 weeks off.
Yeah, what a great
And
trainer.
don't go back.
What a great trainer,
They're
right?
scared
You
of
just,
you
you just
sore.
lost your self-income for the next 2 weeks because you killed them, right? So that's
Yeah.
always been the biggest thing is go at a pace that's comfortable. And that's the hard part is you have to be able to hold people back.
Yeah. But that you got to expose. So I think EFC does a good job of explaining to them, like, take it easy, go a little lighter if you have to, if you're not sure.
And that is purely because it's the personal trainer led.
Exactly.
Because I've done it with high intensity people. Like, you want that energy, but I don't want that energy because you have to be able to say, okay, you're kind of off today, your knee hurts, whatever else. Let's do it.
Or
do it
even
effectively.
And the adjustments that they make is kind
Modifications
of nice.
are huge. Yep.
So
but we
that's a
don't
big
need
thing.
to say, keep up with them, right? We're not here to goat you into doing something foolish. It's to lead you into doing something proper.
Yeah.
And that's hard for people.
Yeah. It's just educating them, I think, is what it is the education as far as you don't have to go too hard yet, especially the new people.
Holding people back is hands down the most interesting part of this job, right? Is letting them trust you and fighting them to hold them back is like, damn, fine, just do it. But no, it's sometimes you got to let them know, right? And they fuck themselves up, and you see, told you, all right, cool. Now you're gonna listen to me, yeah.
Now you feel it. Now you don't want to feel that, right?
Let's slow down now.
Oh yeah, remember that I told you so. That's right. Okay.
That's funny. And for personal training, what's been one of the most rewarding things as the personal trainer for just your average gym goer, not the competitor, just your average person?
Average person is always still doing something that they never thought they could do. Pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups, single leg balance stuff, right? That shit that we all take for granted.
Right.
And if you step off the curb wrong and all of a sudden everything hurts because you landed wrong, right? Like, that's the real shit. And if you can make that stuff go away, you win.
Oh, yeah.
Helping people feel better is my hands down my favorite thing, right? Because of all my injuries, fortunately, I've learned how to work through a lot of stuff, and I've spent a lot of time with physical therapists. But you learn how to deal with certain things. So if you tell me your shoulder hurts, well, there's still 1,000 ways we can work through this. So let's figure it out, right? And that's being able to help them through pain and get better and make it functional, right? Like, my guy's a golfer, and we destroyed his legs the other day, and he played the best game of golf he's ever played.
Oh, nice.
And he texted me, he's like, man, I was like, we got to toast your legs before you play more often. And he's like, hell yes, like, this is great. I wasn't trying so hard, blah, blah, blah. Just stupid shit, right? But it directed just exactly to his normal life.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
Picking your kid up out of the car without your back hurting, right?
Yeah.
That matters. Carrying a TV upstairs.
Picking
That shit
something
matters.
off the floor.
And, yeah.
That's one thing
That's
I've
too
had
far,
to-
man.
It's like, oh.
I'm going to kick it. Yeah, that's too hard. But yeah, doing things that don't hurt. Stepping off a curb, learning how to, just to protect your body. That's everything.
The simple stuff.
The simple stuff that we all take for granted until we're 55 years old, and now it's all gone.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh,
Yep.
should have did this 20 years ago.
Yep. Lifting weights is crucial, and that's what most people don't understand. It's finally getting out there now how important it is.
Yeah.
Even more, even for like women, a lot of women would think, oh, I'm going to get bulky. I'm like, girl, you're not getting bulky unless you're taking something.
Yeah, it's going to take you a lot of time and a lot of
It's like,
testosterone.
a lot of guys can't even get real bulky.
No. My favorite study that I always relay my clients to is there was a study that did a 20-year study on 3 different groups of people. One was religious with their cardio, didn't lift weights, ate whatever they wanted. The other was meticulous with their food, ate perfect, didn't do cardio, didn't lift weights. And the other was lifting weights, didn't do cardio, ate whatever they wanted, right? So those 3 groups, the healthiest group at the end of the 20 years was the weightlifting group.
The weightlifting group.
The hearts were healthier. The lungs were healthier. The brain was healthier, right? Everything on them. They didn't do cardio and they ate like shit, but they lifted weights.
Yeah.
Everything across the board
muscle.
was
Active.
muscle.
Metabolism.
It's the muscle. Right? Muscle is your skeleton. Muscle is your armor. Muscle protects everything. It's
Dang, I
everything.
didn't know that. I'm
Yeah.
going to use that study now.
That's my favorite study. I'll pull it up. I have it on my
Yeah.
computer. And I'll
Oh,
give it to you to
dude.
shit them. But yeah, it's
That's
one of my
crazy.
favorites.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's actually unique.
Yeah, it was a hell of a study, right? Because everybody thinks you have to eat right and you have to do this stuff and you got to do your cardio.
Just got to lift.
You do a little bit of everything, that's fine. But the weightlifting and building muscle
the
is
one-
always
the
number
key.
one.
Yeah.
That's your key.
Yeah.
That's your fountain of youth.
There you go.
Yep.
Then for personal training, what made you want to become a personal trainer as far as when you first started? Because obviously you started when you were 20-something, started a little late, and then what kind of drove you to like, you know what, I'm going to start this?
When I lost all my weight, I had a couple of friends that asked for help, and they would come and work out with me, and they do all these things, and so that was cool and that was fun, whatever else. when I moved down here is when I really took it up a notch. And ultimately, it's the connection with the people that makes me want to keep doing it. Like, I love the people. As much as I'm an introvert, the people, God dang, man, if you know what it is, if you have a bad hour with somebody, if you have a bad client, it's the longest damn hour of your life.
It really is.
You know, and so for me, it's finding the people that want it so bad they can taste it and helping them do that. That's the best. And that's the only reason I do it.
Okay, nice.
I love it. Yeah, it's just helping people. It's all about people. If you get greedy and you get selfish and you get stupid, this business will burn you.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen real
all
quick.
the time.
Yeah,
you know, so it's you're not going to get super wealthy on it. You can live a damn comfortable life and provide for your family by just being a normal guy and taking care of business and not being an asshole. It's not complicated, you know. But
just build. I think the relationship's probably the biggest one. Being nice, because then they're going to refer you to someone else.
Oh yeah.
Then we're going to you building that relationship so they feel come through. Yeah, networking.
It's always a network. Yeah, I've never had to advertise for clients in my life.
Yeah,
and it's always word of mouth.
Yeah, that's why I've got, after like the first 8 months, that's where I kind of thought everything was word of mouth after that. It was like grinding, like, right, I need to figure this out.
Did you start in a gym?
Yeah. I started at a gym. It was a private gym.
Gym.
Yeah, it was a private gym off of Buck Owens right there. I'm sure you probably kind of know.
So that part's the hard part then. That's where any new trainer comes in. I always tell them, go to an In Shape, go to a 24-hour fitness first. Spend a year there, learn the business, eat shit like the rest of us had to, because I don't have, a private gym, I can't give you any clients. Like, I'll get 3 a month that want some training, right? Everybody calling for group classes. And then you get a pool to fish out of from there, but whatever. At a gym, they're handing you clients, right? At least they used to. Now it's not so much, but go to the gym first and learn how to do that. And so that, anyway, a lot of trainers had to learn that way, which they should.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've also been working out since I was 13. So I've been always wanting to be a trainer.
Oh, really?
And I've always studied nutrition, muscle, everything. I've always studied as a hobby since the age of 13.
What got you into it?
The opportunity. He kept saying he needs trainers.
Nice.
And then I was like, well, I'll be one. I told him like 10 times. I said, yeah, I'll be your trainer, just, So he got a lead, and I trained that lead for the first one. She loved the workout. First client I ever trained, and he sold her on the package, and that was it.
And you got hooked on it.
And then from there, it was just like up and down, trying to figure out, okay, I got to market, okay, figuring out the reaching out, figuring out kind of the system. So I kind of figured it out in about took me about 8 months when I was like, okay, no, because I had to trust my process. I was like, I know what I'm doing is right. I fixed my body. I'm helping this lady. The people I'm helping are feeling better. I'm seeing the results in their body. They're moving better. They haven't felt like this in who knows how long. They can bend their knees. They can touch their toes. They can do this. So I knew I had something.
Right.
So I had to just keep going. And luckily, I made some nice investments while I was working as a CPA that kind of helped me sustain within those 8 months, because it was not bringing me that much money.
Right. Like you definitely went on the hard end.
Yeah, I took
in a private gym
took
first.
the hardest route you could possibly. But luckily, I had those investments. And honestly, that's what it was. Those from my CPA world, the investments kind of helped me, and I kind of strategized as far as, okay, how am I going to do this? Because I had the CPA background, so I understood the business. I was like, okay, started doing numbers. I was like, okay, keep going, figuring it out, and then I just kept trusting myself. And then one day, just went like that.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then now I'm here.
You went the hard route, though, right? At a private gym, anybody starting at a private gym is so fucking hard.
Yeah, because it's a lot different.
It's slow.
Yeah, way slower.
You can't watch things. You don't get handed things. If part of the thing at the gym, right, at In Shape, was you had 6 floor hours a week that you were paid your minimum wage, and you can go find people on the floor and teach them how to do something. If you see them doing something wrong, become a point of contact for that person, right? So I see Joe doing push-ups and he sucks at doing push-ups. I'm going to show him how to do it right. You need something, come back and find me, right? And then now Joe has a relationship and we're going to start building, and then eventually now I get that sale.
Yeah.
You can't do that in a private gym.
No.
Because everybody there is with somebody already. And so it's really hard to learn that part. So you did it the hard way, but that's good.
So we'll go ahead and start closing the podcast. So for the last piece, if you can give the audience a piece of advice, whether it's for business, life, fitness, whatever you'd like to share.
Consistency. Be consistent on who you are, how you do things. take care of people, and everything will take care of itself. Don't get greedy.
I like that. I like that last part.
Good one.
The greedy part will take you down faster than a sinking boat.
Yeah, it'll burn.
Oh yeah, burn real fast.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in on today's episode. We'll catch you guys on the next one. What's your story?